It's a little bit dark in here. I apologize for that. Um, I apologize for that. But it's a nice glow. We like the nice glow, don't we? Hello, you beautiful stars. I am Cortney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. This is Friday, uh, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually, Emerald Tablets Revealed. We're gonna resume that in June. Right now, we are finishing up what I had started long, long ago that I kept referring to as lesson one, trying to get everything to all is mind. Because that really is the only lesson one and the ultimate lesson, all is mind, from Hermetics. Um, I kind of talk a bit as people are coming through because I am live all the time. It's just how I roll. Hello, Miss Lori. Good to see you. It's how I roll. Oh, not that card. Um, we are coming to nearly an end. We're gonna finish up correspondence because I had to do it in kind of three parts. Last week was just a Corpus Hermetica rant. I was in a mood, I guess. I was just feeling like doing the Corpus Hermetica stuff, Hermetics, just ranting in a way. I mean, I read a lot of the material. Yes, Lori, you're on time. You're on time better than I'm on time. Good job, Ms. Lori. Um, and so we're gonna finish up the aspect of correspondence today because I went from the spiritual plane to the mental plane to we're gonna go into like the physical plane today. I will tell you though, in the Corpus Hermetica, to back up all that will be talked about, it is not so easy to find stuff in there as far as like how in the Emerald Tablets by Toth by Dorel would talk about form out of the formless. How we talk here at Stars of Morning Light of a seventh dimensional consciousness is actually tangible. That is the new earth. It's kind of hard to find material in the Corpus Hermetica that directly speaks to that without it trying to actually explain more so all is mind. So when hey Robert, hey Shelley. So when I venture back from Illinois, we will be focusing more so on trying to solidify that all is mind. Um, because what we did here is I started from the last principle of Hermetics, which I think is gender, to tell you the truth, the principle of gender, and we worked our way back through them. Because to say all is mind is a very big concept, very, very big concept. So today I will be talking about form out of the formless, seventh dimensional consciousness, frequency, creating out of thin air. What those would like to kind of refer to as alchemy, but it's really just science, magic, and all is mentalism. I will be talking about the earth, because that is how we create the new earth. That is. It's all consciousness, it's all frequency, it's all vibration. So, talking about the physical plane, we have to talk about the earth. You know, we're here, we chose to be here, so therefore we're going to be talking about it. Also, just a couple of things. I will also be I might start with this actually. I was with my masters because I only have two teachers left really that are here present right now in this time frame. I was with them Monday night for one of our private classes and getting Egyptian activation codes and all sorts of stuff, right? I was doing what I do, so then I can do what I do with you. And they're actually on their way to Egypt, I think today or tomorrow. They're starting to try to teach people how to detox kind of immediately from all of the bombardment of AI and the subliminal messages and taking in so much AI. And Monday night, because I had started teaching it a bit ago, but Monday night they said, guys, send it all out. If you can, show as many people as you can how to do this. And it does work. I mean, we kind of went through it again Monday night as we were doing other things. Like I said, more of a activation aspect of many Egyptian codes and how to create form out of the formless. Anyways, that I'm going to be starting to teach that here as well, because it was full clearance as to show as many people as you can. Because they're beautiful beings that care more about humanity than anything else. I do also want to throw it out there that I did think that I was going to be here Sunday at 2 o'clock, but tomorrow, I don't know why I wasn't thinking about this before, but probably because I had a lot going on. Tomorrow I am working an event. Like, I will have a booth doing Akashic readings for people in Dalton, Georgia, if anybody's interested or can be interested. You beautiful stars, I do not work events like that often. I mean, maybe twice a year tops. Because like it just dawned on me last night, it's an 8-hour day. And so that means I am connected to the Akashic for 8 hours, maybe even more so. That takes a grand toll on my body. A grand toll. We're actually going to learn a lot about that as we go further with that Edgar Cayce life skill studies. The toll that it takes on the body, really nobody should be working that many kind of hours. It's very hard to sustain the frequency of the Akashic, and then come back to this plane, right? Come back to like really 3D, because my body is in 3D. A lot of my life is still in the 3D. Not so much my focus, but my physical body definitely is. That when my consciousness returns to more of, even if it's 5D, my body still takes a grand toll. So I was advised, as we also will learn in the Edgar Cayce life skill study, that people that do this kind of work, we really do need advisors around us that we trust, and we trust that they have our well-being in their minds and hearts, because we will not, as we kind of talked on Wednesday with the Edgar Cayce study, it is a continuous thought of serving humanity. It's a continuous train of thought that we need advisors to help us, because it's too much for our bodies, our minds, our souls. It can be too much. I mean, humanity's pretty darn big, right? That unfortunately Edgar Cayce, in my humble opinion, did not have the best counsel many times in his life. Because we also, I will say, because it's a heart of gratitude and service, we tend to also become a little pig-headed and stubborn and think we can do it all. I'm not saying that we don't take our moments to heal and be with ourselves, but we see it as help, right? We see it as other things. So we do need to have a counsel around us. This will be greatly spoken about in the Edgar Cayce studies, life skill studies, because that's a part of the life skills of when you do enter into your gift and you start using your gift for humanity, taking care of humanity. You do need people around you to give you good counsel and reinforce you need to take a break, you need to relax, you need to heal, that kind of thing, right? To handle a lot of stuff. And this is very true. I think what happens, though, is when we see that quote unquote in action, it's usually these odd cult situations of there's the master and he does his thing and then he goes away and hides in his room for hours and the council is taking care of everything, and then when it's, oh man, tax evasion or whatever the criminal activity is, he goes, oh, that was my counsel. I didn't know anything. That was my counsel. But yet he loves to ride in the BMWs and ride in the private jets, right? The problem is that's what we see in society. That's what we get to see. This horrible corruption, right? Which is, that's a big sign as to, who you can trust and not trust. But so for all of us laymen out there that are just trying to do the good work, same as how all the ascended masters, they had counsel around them. They had great counsel that they listened to. Like with Christ, it was Mary and John, period. That's who he listened to. In a lot of ways, right? Mary was the one that decided where they were going to go. I mean, there was always counsel because the mind is always focused on helping, right? But there also needs to be an element of, and I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm just waiting for people to kind of come in. But there also has to be an element of, it's funny because I watch a lot of programs and all of them do the whole like, who has ears to hear, eyes to see, right? Ears to hear, blah, blah, blah. That, ladies and gentlemen, you beautiful stars, that was a call out. This is for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Because if you come upon a group of people that clearly don't have ears to hear or eyes to see, you move along. You literally move along. You don't focus your time on people that are not open to receiving. That was constantly, verbally, kind of a call out to see, should I move on? Also, a call out to people to be like, hey, do you have ears to hear and eyes to see, right? That's how that was really used for whatever master it was, whoever was using it. Because that was also the Vista and like Verdic stuff use similar words. I mean, that was a similar thing going on with a few of them that they learned. Don't waste your time on people that are closed, that have a closed heart. Don't waste your time on that. Move to the next that do. Find them, right? So, as far as having a counsel around you, because I'm working such a long day tomorrow, and I will then be driving on Wednesday to Illinois straight through, which is going to end up being at least 14 to 16 hours, depending on how many times I stop. It was counseled to me to pull back on Sunday a bit, because I will need the rest. Normally when I work a day like that, a full day like that, it takes at least 3 or 4 days of quiet time to recover, to get my strength back physically and all sorts of things. My mind, honestly, because when you come back, it's like what time is it? Like I lose scope in a lot of ways, which is not good if I'm going to be in the car driving on Wednesday, right? Early Wednesday morning. So it was advised to me to pull back on Sunday some. So I am not going to do the 2 o'clock live program because I do still have a lot to cover. That I will be with my patrons Sunday night at 8 o'clock. That I will definitely be doing. So as I'm gone, I won't do the 2 o'clock, but I will most likely do the collective Akashic message and send it out to my patrons first. While I'm gone in Illinois, I will do a video with Dr. Ben Goins again, which will be fabulous. He's going through the periodic table to break down all these heavy metals to us, and it's wonderful. I might release that at this time next Friday because I will not be able to be live. And I'll do hopefully many shorts. Lori just said, Cortney, have a beer for me. Yeah, I am going to, it's funny because I say Illinois and, but I'm really going to like the Wisconsin border. I mean, I would be 5 minutes from the Wisconsin border. So yeah, I have a beer. Do you know that's what people might not know? And I'm going off the chat just for a joke here. You know, Milwaukee, Milwaukee. Milwaukee is called, you know, like the beer capital of the United States. I mean, beer, right? Not just because there's beer companies there, but because of the percentage of bars to the percentage of population is damn near double from any other city. Yeah, that area, guys, there's so many Germans. There's so many. We like our beer, right? And I will also tell you, I don't know if it's still this way, but when I was young, everywhere else was you had to be 21 years old to drink a beer. Not the case in Wisconsin. If you were in a bar with your family, it could even be like, this is my uncle who's just a couple of years older than me. If you were in the bar with your family at 18, you could drink. Yeah, it was like that in Wisconsin. Especially around that area. They kept it very old ways. So that is what it's actually about. Like the per capita of how many bars to the population is vastly greater. That's how they refer to it as the beer capital of America. Which I have to also, and this has nothing to do with any kind of Corpus America. We're just having a good time here on Friday morning. I gotta tell you, so growing up in that area, right? We have neighborhood bars, and I literally mean you could step out of your house and probably walk a block or two, and there's a bar. Like, that's how they're getting these numbers. Like, they would be legitimately in the neighborhood. It could be just a brick building, and it's only got 10 stools, but there's a bar. And they're everywhere, right? In that area where I grew up, in Milwaukee, Chicago, I mean, all that area, that's how we kind of all hung, unless you're way further out in the suburbs, which I wasn't. I was more in a city growing up. And so that's what you were used to. I mean, even when you're a little kid, I mean, this was the 80s. So even when you're a little kid, you walk down the street to go go get so-and-so at the bar, or, go get your daddies at the bar, or you go sit at the bar with, like that was the area, okay? So you grow up thinking that's how it is everywhere. Like, that's just how it is everywhere. And I've learned as an adult, talking with other people, even people that grew up in, more maybe what we call like northern cities, city-esque area, they've always referenced like, no, Cortney, we don't have anything like that. I have a good friend that, she grew up in New Jersey and Rhode Island and all that area. And she was like, I'll never forget when I went to Chicago. My friend said, let's go down to the bar and have a beer. She was like, we walked out of the house, we're walking, and within a couple of blocks, there was just a door. She was like, there was no sign. There were actually no windows. She was like, and I just walked into this brick building, and she was like, and kid you not, there's a whole bar with a pool table inside. She's like, I've never seen that. And you know how they're also tucked away everywhere. Like if you're in a city, like quote unquote speakeasies are still very present, right? They're everywhere. Um, that I just assumed that's how everybody lived. And it's not. It is so not how everybody lives. So in that area, yeah, folks, you can find them everywhere. They are literally in every neighborhood, on pretty much every block. Um, it's definitely a thing, and so you can imagine why it had the reputation in the 20s as it did as well. That had never stopped. Um, Never once stopped. So it's funny that Lori brought that up because yeah, and pizza. I am yeah. Robert said that's Wisconsin. Yeah. So where I am technically from is a very big city that right on the Lake Michigan. That if you went 40 minutes and drove 40 minutes north, you're in Milwaukee. If you drove 40 minutes south, you're in Chicago. I was that middle big city of the go between, right? Lots of stuff that happened in my city. Um, so yeah, that entire area. And you know what? And it's not just that. I was just gonna say pizza. Yep, Lori just said it in the chat. Oh, good. How, boy, howdy! I can't wait to eat some pizza. Um, like I might have pizza every other night when I'm there, cause there ain't nothing like a good Chicago pizza. There's nothing like it, and I can't find anything like it in the South. There's nothing like it. So that part is exciting. That part's good. The pizza is a magical thing. I often, and I'll get off of this in a moment because everybody, probably people that might see this on the flip side, is like, what is she babbling about? Um, I used to think about that. How pizza really could like represent the community's atmosphere, the people of that area, and how they, you know, do things, and how they, live in this world. You got the New York pizza. To me, is semi whatever. I'm not going to get into the argument, but you got the New York pizza that's just this big piece of pizza that you fold and you can eat it as you're walking down the busy streets of New York. You can eat it real fast. You're just eating on the go. You're just get a piece of pizza, get done with it. You got nourishment, keep moving on. That to me really does sound like New York. It really does. I mean, I understand how that came into being there, right? Chicago's a little bit different. It's a Midwest city. People, I think, forget that is really, truly the Midwest. That no, our Chicago pizza is like this flippin' big. Nobody understands why the cheese is filling all the bottom. You got your toppings and then the sauce is on the top. Nobody really understands why that happens. We like our cheese in the Midwest, folks. We like our cheese. It's the main thing in a pizza. And also, one piece of our pizza, depending on where you go, that's your meal. Like you eat, it's not a meal that's like, oh man, I got to eat later on because all I had was a New York piece. No, it is extremely filling. You eat it usually with a fork and knife. You have to cut this thing. There is no just picking it up and definitely not folding it up. It is that time involved. We're sitting, we're talking about business, we're talking about family matters, we're having a piece of pizza. It's a different mentality, it's a different way of life of, hey, let's go get a piece of pizza. That's going to take you a moment to eat it. That's your quality time. That's your getting business done time. That's your not on the go time. We're getting a piece of pizza. So it's a different way of going about things. And you can see that in the different cultures. You can really see it. That I mean, Chicago's on the move all the time as well. But if you ask somebody, "Hey, let's go get a piece of pizza," and they agree, they know that that's because we got stuff to talk about, or we need to pull back and relax and step away from what we're doing for a minute. It's a different kind of mentality. Because it's a meal, guys. It's a huge thing. And then think of like California pizza. Um, that is less cheese, less sauce, much greens. All of it usually is by a fire, which is fine. I mean, I like it. It's good, but fresh, airy. It's nothing like the same other two. You see what I'm saying? It definitely represents California, in my opinion. Definitely. The gluten free, the fresh and airy. This is not a judgment. It's good pizza. Um, you can get it on the go or you can sit and eat it. It's kind of, its own thing in its own right of nothing like the cheese consumption of the Midwest and nothing of the let's get it and go of New York. It's its own thing, which is California. It's its own thing. It's it's interesting how I mean, even when I was young, I was like, this really does say a lot about the area, the people. You know, yeah, it says a lot. And so I will definitely be taking breaks eating some Chicago pizza because that is our break time. That is definitely our break. Oh, we're getting pizza? We're taking a break. Like, that's awesome. We're taking a break and we're probably going to have a beer and then go back to work. That's how that works. So, what's lovely is the card that came out is actually the card of Earth. My lighting is not the best in today because I have to have my iPad plugged in. Number 24, Earth. The frequency of Earth activates our deep connection to this physical plane by showing us the beauty of all aspects of our Great Mother and revealing the more ethereal, spiritual aspects of our nature. Oh, shoot, I really need the light on this. I really need the light on this. This is actually, I'm happy this card popped out while I was babbling. This is exactly what we're going to be talking about, folks. The connection to Earth, the physical plane, and how it's actually more connected to the ethereal than we're recognizing. And if things are in the ethereal, where creation is, and we can all access it, well, then we can help heal, change, create new Earth, create new form. Look at all those beautiful pyramids, folks. Look at all those beautiful pyramids. I know Robert on Milky Way Soul Tribe did stuff about pyramids. That will be coming in June here, because it's, Lori, thank you for sticking with. It might also be because I was talking too fast. And when you're live, I think the algorithm, this is just an opinion, I have no idea. I think when you're live, the algorithm is still trying to follow what you're saying. And if I'm talking too fast or just horsing around like we just were, right? We were just having a good time. I think it's were, right? We were just having a good time. I think it does that whole wait, you lost connection or you're reconnecting. I'm hoping I'm back now. I was talking about how I do think, because that's been happening to me a lot. when it's not my system at all. I think what happens there, folks, because it keeps happening, is that when we're having a good time, or I'm talking too fast, or we're just horsing around, whatever it may be. I do believe when I'm live, the algorithms, the control board of YouTube is still trying to keep up with what's being said and follow what's being said, because it's oh, and Seeker just said a very big solar flare. Yeah, guys, that's going to keep happening, but we need to not, I don't think we should base everything on that as well. I think this is more so because I solely go live. I do think if um, I'm going too fast for the computer to keep up tracking with what I'm saying, I think that's what they do. They kind of do the whole like reconnecting to just catch up with what's being said. Because they do listen to everything. They listen to every word. Because it's happened on days regardless of solar flares or not. I think they do that, and I don't really actually lose connection. I think that's just, you better pause, because we gotta catch up with what you're saying. When I wasn't saying anything against people in New York, the Midwest, or California, I was talking about the representation of our pizza, and what it's very telling about the people in those areas. But I think that's what's actually going on, because this has been happening a lot. Hey, Miss Chloe, good to see you. So, going right into it. Actually, because I'm back, let's do this first. Now that I'm half an hour in, my goodness. Okay. So my teachers have been trying to teach for the past few weeks how to physically detox, and we should, they're recommending doing it multiple times during the day. Physically detox from AI, from the subliminal messages, from all of transmissions. It is, and you got to think, because now, what's funny, guys, is they're starting to teach about how I have been on Edgar Casey Life Skill Studies, about the pituitary gland that takes everything in. And everybody thinks that you only got to activate your pineal. That's not true, because your pineal gland is very incorporated in with the pineal. And that is what actually is really taking everything in. Okay? It's back here. Your pineal gland is back here. So, yeah, I was like, they started teaching about that a few weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, I love when I'm tracking with my own masters, So, this is a beautiful, and you do have to kind of watch once I start. This is a beautiful way to actually detox the brain, both conscious and subconscious, of the overload of AI that is upon us, right? So, what you will do is start in the middle of the eye, because it's all going into the eyes. The poor, beautiful eyes of the soul. The poor, beautiful eyes of, the beautiful, wonderful, I shouldn't say poor. They're just being overloaded. Those beautiful eyes of ours, right? That takes everything in. So, from your activate, okay, so take your index finger, I'm going to start this way. Take your index finger and push it against your thumb. Now you guys should watch for a moment. Take your index finger, push it against your thumb. You're kind of activating on both sides. It's like you're activating, you're getting your energies, frequencies up this way, physically. Middle finger to thumb, okay, physically. You kind of feel it building in your hand, physically, right? Okay. Then we're going to take that index finger. We're going to take the same index finger, and we're going to go to the center of the eye on both eyes. Now I'm going to just do one, and I'm going to kind of turn sideways here so you can see. You take that index finger right in the center of your eye, Bring it straight back, folks. Straight back around the back of the ear. That is where your pineal gland is. Or not pineal, I'm sorry. Your pituitary gland. So we're flushing that. Bring it back down. Bring it down to the base of the neck. And then down and out. And toss it. Let's do it together. So actually I'm going to do it again so you guys can see. Take that same middle index finger, center of the eye. This will, if you concentrate, knowing this will detox all the AI that's coming, because it does work. I mean, by Monday night, I was like, whoa, whoa, thank you. Because we don't even know how much. We really don't. Middle finger. I'm not trying to flick anybody off. Middle finger to the middle of the eye. And because I can't really see, so I'm hoping you guys can see all this. Bring it over the eye, past the temple, right? Over the ear, down and around the base of the skull, to the base of the skull, down the neck and out. You do that on both at the same time, simultaneously. So let's do it together, okay? We're all going to take, it's weird because I can't see, it's not like I can see you guys anyways, but we're going to take our middle fingers from the middle of the eyeball, right? The middle of your eyeball. We're going to trace off of the eye, okay? You might flip your hand past the temple, around the ear. Oh, do you feel that? Tracing the ear, around to the back of the skull, down the neck, and out. Did you feel that? Yeah. And clear off your hands. I'm going to keep doing that because they requested that we all do that, especially those that might have platforms. And it does work. It does work. Do it 2-3 times a day if you can. Especially those who very much are somewhat addicted to AI. And unfortunately, I don't like using that term, but I'm married to one that has an earbud in his ear all day long, really. You know what I mean? So I understand how there's a lot of people that, and even I might veg out to the television. It's still the same thing. What we hear, what we see, right? So thank you, ladies. I'm glad that you participated. Keep doing it. Yeah, keep doing it. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So, we are in correspondence now, almost 40 minutes into this. Man, Friday. We are in the last bit of correspondence because I even started when we were talking about correspondence. I started from the end and worked my way back up. We talked about the spiritual plane. We talked about the mental plane. Now it's the physical plane. I think everybody can understand this. I really do. Correspondence is really, as easy as we can put it, the vibrations that are bouncing off of each other. The different degrees of vibration form. Physical plane is still just vibration. It's still just energy. All of this, you, me, plants, earth, everything, is just a degree of vibration. We kept talking about this part every time we talked about the other parts. When we would say from down to the atoms and the components, which is what is basically referred to in the corpus hermetica, all the little parts that make something whole. right? That makes it tangible. My body, your body, life, plane, right? The earth, all of it. That makes it tangible is still just a degree of vibration. So, really, as we're going to try to get into more when I get back from Illinois, all is mind. If that is the case, which science has backed this up wholeheartedly, thank goodness to physics for backing this all up. Thank goodness to science telling us that, you know, geez, the amount of space within a nucleus and its cell wall is like the same as the space of the universe. I mean, thank you, science, for backing up so much. Yay, thank you, science. It's science magic. Science magic is what it was always referred to for centuries upon centuries. Alchemy, science magic. That, I mean, it really was. That is what it is. So science is not exactly what we think of science today. Science has been, manipulated and transformed and forgotten. So much has been forgotten. So all of that is backing up what I'm saying. I know most of you are all intelligent beings. Oh my goodness, Chloe, if you are still able to be in the chat, I saw something like 3 weeks ago that I wanted to send you and I didn't. Yeah, that's how. So I apologize for that, but it was talking about how they completely have now identified, thank goodness, that in the center of the earth is basically a sun. Now, there had always been theories of that. There had always been theories that in the center of the earth, it's basically just another big ball burning like the sun to the same extent as the sun. Ooh, maybe I'll have to do something with that. Because yes, the center of the earth. Love it. Love it. Maybe we just gotta go through that sun to get to the other side, to the new earth. Maybe. Ooh, and it's good time in the center of the earth. Talk about that vibration. Talk about that power. Talk about that healing. Talk about it. Yes, literally, talk about it. So we should be able to wrap our minds around this. And think about this, folks. I mean, if science is proving that everything is vibration, everything's vibration, right? Just a different degree of it. Atoms start acting and moving and changing differently and forming differently when we look at it. Our eyes, folks, our eyes, right? Do not let the AI, this is the only part of AI that should be addressed. Them taking your consciousness, I would not worry about that. To what? Put in a carbon body? That's not, I would not worry about that. I mean, is it out there? Is that technology out there? Yeah. But I'm sorry. Man, people have very grandiose ideas of themselves. Nobody cares about your consciousness other than you, really. At least right now in today's world. And that's what we're trying to avoid instead of worry that it's going to happen, right? I love how people have the most grandiose ideas of themselves. They don't care, right? That's not what they're not looking out for you. They're not thinking about you. I love you all dearly. I think about you. They are not thinking about you in that form. They do not care about having your consciousness. But the impact of the subliminal messages and the fact that what we see actually creates form. It changes the atoms. It changes the frequencies. It changes the vibrations, right? It changes what is then created. So that is what we do, and I will never deny that. I will never deny that we need to pay attention to what we're looking and listening to, right? Because it's a part of creation. And those out there know that. Those out there know that. The fact that us humans, us poor, unfortunate beings that just kind of go along with the flow, are not acknowledging that to the extent that we need to. Because once we do, though, this is the great I am aspect of it. Once we all do acknowledge, yeah, that's exactly how science magic works, well, then our choice. We will remember the fact that we have free will and we have choice, and therefore we can start creating an entire new world. It'll be beautiful, magical, and wonderful. But people have to remember that they have freedom of choice and will to use their eyes and mind correctly. So with all that being said, the physical plane, it is still just vibration, right? Most of the people here understand this. Most of the people here know what's going on there. Oh, so in the Corpus Hermeticum, it's difficult, like I was saying, to find direct examples of this is what they're saying to use it in that light, because they're really, the entire material is trying to get people to understand all is mentalism. I mean, really, that's hands down. Every story, even if it's folktale, was trying to teach something. Every parable, every written something, except maybe 21st century or 20th century fiction, right? All the classics, even of fiction, were trying to pose an idea for people to think, or even try to resolve an idea. I learned a long time ago that great writers pose the questions of life. Mediocre writers try to answer them. So from the beginning of time, all of our stories, all of our ancient texts, our parables, all of it, they are trying to emphasize something to have people start thinking about it. The Corpus Hermetica, for Hermes, the three great. Actually, folks, I'm going to pause. So, as you take a sip of whatever you're drinking this morning, this fine morning, I have to remember, I have to talk about the Trinity when I get back. And I have to talk about the pyramids when I get back. The three and you could say it, the three and me. You could say the three plus me for the four balanced structure. You could, the Trinity is pretty important, and I was supposed to do something about that like 6 weeks ago, and I didn't get to it. But I wrote it down, folks. I finally wrote it down. So with this, the Corpus Hermetica, its overcapping theme throughout is how all is mind. Period. All is mind. All is mentalism. And all the principles that came before that we just went through actually follow after, if you read the material, is to back it up, to give more detail, to explain things in more depth. Even with gender, the masculine, feminine energies, which do still exist throughout all time, space, cosmos, our cosmos and other cosmos, right? Throughout all of it, that does still exist to different degrees. It is not as emphasized in other areas as it is in our plane, right? Still there. Correspondence, still very much there, as we're talking about it right now. Let's go over the principles one more time, and then I will get into it, folks. I guess I'm just kind of doing my thing this Friday. Principle 1, the principle of mentalism. Principle 2, the principle of correspondence. Principle 3 is the principle of vibration. 4, the principle of polarity. 5, the principle of rhythm. 6, the principle of cause and effect. 7, the principle of gender, the male and feminine energy. I will tell you guys, all right, all of these we've discussed. All of these we have discussed to get us to how all is mentalism. All of those principles, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. All of those are to what degree? Are to what degree? Here in this plane of existence and all of the cosmos, to what degree of vibration? To what degree of truly consciousness, frequency? Your consciousness is frequency. Hands down, your consciousness is frequency. So to what degree of your consciousness is to what degree those are fully in place. I will tell you, in 3D consciousness, polarity, gender, rhythm, all of that, right? All of that is very dense. All of that is very heavy, very dense, very set in place, very, there's one way or another, us versus them, this is right, that is wrong, very dense. It is 3D density. 3D density that is really based out of all the lower levels of consciousness. Anger, fear, pride, hurt, shame, all of the lower, much lower frequency consciousness. I mean, 100, 150 less in frequency scale, right? In consciousness scale. That when you start moving through that and living more in compassion for self and others, living in willingness, living in forgiveness, living in different lights, living in inner love, seeing the all as you move up, all of that changes the scope around you, changes the land around you, changes everything around you. My beloved teachers, I know I've covered some of this before, but a very, very long time ago, that when I've used the reference of when Christ said, you know, it is finished, or like I said, I do have to tell you guys, and maybe people don't know, many of the similar sayings that he used, definitely so did the Vista for the Vedic stuff, definitely. Buddha too, maybe in a bit of a different light. All of them were really using these kind of terms. And I had done a video a while back that said, I use that term all the time because it's finished to me as it is. It is. And my beloved masters are kind of bringing that back into effect for people. Something that I understood a long time ago. And they are emphasizing now to help people understand. So I'm going to kind of take from them. They are Master Shri and Lady Kira, who live down in the Andes Mountains, on their way to Egypt right now. They are using it as it is as you are. And I had never spoken it that way to others. I mean, I did in a lot of words. So here at Stars of the Morning Light, there's a lot of words, right? There's a lot of words going on. But it can really be that simple. If we meditate on that, folks, it is as you are. That is Hermetics. That is all the laws of the cosmos. So to what degree, frequency, vibration you are, it is. So there's no reason that we would not be able to create a new earth, change the physical plane, change and use the simple awareness that is actually very profound to create form out of the formless, as we talked about in the Emerald Tablets Revealed. There'd be no reason why we can't when we acknowledge it is as you are. So we would have to heighten our frequency, change the output of vibration. It's actually not as difficult as our human fog tells us. It's really not that difficult. But we are so used to the fog and the depth, the suffocation of 3D density, that to get a breath of fresh air, to even see beyond it, is difficult for many. We have very simple resolutions. Very simple resolutions. Very simple things that we can do. But yet, the density tells us we can't. Because it is heavy. Heavy. This is why even the Corpus Hermetica, it says all the time, leave your body, travel. If you do not equate yourself to God, you will not understand God. You are just as great and beautiful and majestic and powerful and of the same essence of all of it. So if you do not release yourself from 3D, you will not ever experience the love of the ultimate, of the all, of the limitless, of the Father, the Source, however you want to put it. So, I'm on page 108. There's nothing that it does not bring forth alive, and by its motion it makes all things alive. Remember, they're referencing motion here to vibration. And it is at once both the place and the workman of life. But the bodies are from the matter, and in a different manner, for some are of earth, some of water, some of air, some of fire, and all are compounded, but some are more compounded, and some are more simple. That's our science. Like I just was saying, compounded, really we see it as, the atoms coming together, forming matter, right? So some are very simple, we all went through high school science, and we all do, majority understand this stuff. They that are compounded are the heavier, and they that are less are the lighter. And the swiftness of motion of the world makes the varieties of the qualities of generation. For the inspiration of influence being most frequent extends onto the body's qualities with I can't even talk. It's hard sometimes for me to read because I'm reading and thinking and it's all the gland back here, our little my little pituitary gland starts going crazy. The station which is of life. So let me read that again though. And the swiftness of the motion. So remember, when they talk about it in the Corpus Hermetica, right? The divine polyandr, right? This dragon that Hermes is talking to. Swiftness, motion, that's all vibration, right? They're all referencing everything is vibration. And the swiftness of the motion of the world makes the varieties of qualities of generation. So this is actually, I think, out of the regeneration chapter in here. Oh, no, it's not, but that's fine. Generation. The regeneration, the generation, so creation. Creation. In many ancient stuff, you can switch those two out. Because generating, creating, is really simultaneously the same thing. Right? We kind of separate those two words now, but to regenerate is the same as to reincarnate, right? Or to generate is to create, right? That's what we're doing when we create generations. We're creating a bunch of babies, right? So it really does go in and out, meaning the same stuff. Makes the varieties of qualities of generation, the tangible, creation. For the inspiration of influence being most frequent. They're going to talk about the inspiration being that God aspect within you and God talking to you about how to create and what to do, how to use the power of generation, okay, opposed to listening to that of the devil in the world. For the inspiration of influence being most frequent. So really, God is present all the time. Extends onto the body's qualities with station, which is of life. So, remember last week we talked about how really the ideal of God is always good. Is always good. Do we live by it? No. No. There's a whole lot of other stuff at play, but all of it, because God is in everything, source is in everything, this vibration, the light that penetrated through the void, is in everything. Still, everything is good. This is where I think people get tripped up, is because we do the whole everything is good and nothing is good at the same time. Everything is everything and nothing is nothing, right? We do the whole back and forth thing of that. The polarity in our mind instead of just saying it is as you are. We complicate. So that frequency is the most influence and inspiration and is the most frequent in all things. And when it's very present and it keeps something, stable and stationed, that is life then. Therefore, God is the Father of the world, but the world is Father of the things of the world. What? Let's keep going. And the world is the Son of God, but things in the world are the sons of the world. And therefore it is well called the world, that is an ornament, because it adorns and beautifies all things with the variety of generation and limitless power of life, with the tirelessness of operation and the swiftness of necessity, with the mingling of elements and the order of things done. Therefore it is necessarily and properly called the world. So before I continue, I'm going to hold that card up about of the geometry of the world again. Of the world, that is, I'm trying to get my lighting good for you guys today. The world, the earth. World and earth are the same thing, by the way, folks. Earth and world are the same thing. We all live on this earth, which is referred to as world. So, let's go back up to 39 on page 108. Therefore, God is the Father of the world. Because source, light, that light vibration, the word, all is mentalism. It's been spoken about in everything. In everything. Penetrate through. We got the world. We got the earth. We got all sorts of stuff, right? So much happening. Creation, generation. Because He, the Father, the source, the light, is in all things, God is the Father of the world. Okay, cool. We can accept that, right? But the world is Father of the things in the world. So the world has created the world. What? So the world, Father, govern that who generates it, creation of it. So the world, though, so the Father is in all things, cosmic, world, earth, all things. It is the vibration that we use. But the world is Father of the things in the world. Is the govern, is the creator, is the one that generates itself, generates the world. And the world is the Son of God. So cool. Ain't that good? Whew. There's the hope right there. Them trying to reference again, or Hermes trying to remind everyone that God, that flame, I can't wait until we get into some other stuff. Hopefully maybe August. That flame, that source within you, means that we are the Son of God. Son, man, beings of God. And the world is son of God, but things in the world are sons of the world. So things. So the world is the son of God, right? Earth. Actually, earth is referred to as the firstborn. Earth is referred to as the first daughter, to tell you the truth. That's why we call her Gaia. That's why it's Mother Earth. Um, that's why sometimes when I said I don't get down with everything in the Corpus Hermetica because of the old way it was written. In this time, everything would have been sun. Everything would have been man. Everything would have been, lacking the feminine energy, right? And the world is the Son of God. We are of the world. We are just connected to Gaia as she is to us. That is the only thing. We are of her, she is of us, dust to dust, ash to ash. That's what that comes from. We are very much of her. But things in the world are the sons of the world. All the forms that we are creating, as we are generating, as we are the father of the things of the world, as it just said above, all the things that we are doing, all the things that we are creating, all the tangible, all the events, all the everything, but things in the world are the sons of the world. Meaning that's ours. That's our, you could say, in today's world it's referred to as property. And therefore it is well called the world. That is an ornament because it adorns and beautifies all things with the variety of generation. And there, guys, take those words in. And therefore, it is well called the world. That is an ornament. Because it adorns and beautifies all things with variety of generation. So, we who govern this world, create this world. We, that is an ornament. All of our things that are referred to as the things, the sons of this world, things, our property, all of it, everything we're creating, everything we're seeing and creating with the knowing physics in the atoms, just create what we see. Where our frequency and vibration leads it to be. Really an ornament. Because it adorns and beautifies all things with the variety of generation. And limitless power of life. With the tirelessness of operation and the swiftness of necessity. And with mingling of elements and the order of things done. Wow, man. So, we are creating an ornamental world. An ornamental world. Wow. Really, please take this in. We're creating an ornamental world because us, adorns and beautifies all things with the variety of generation. We like our shiny stuff. We like a whole bunch of stuff. We even like the chaos. It's entertainment to us. Do not disregard that. Okay, and we're doing it generation after generation, generating all the time within those generations, just more things, that is creation generation. And limitless power of life. That's what we're using. That's what we're using. Because we do have limitless power of life. We have the ultimate of creation within us. And we are using that limitless for generation after generation to create more generation. Meaning just more things. Because we have a limitless power of life. And it goes on with the tirelessness of operation. These are all laws. Operation is a law. It's really, some of that is within cause and effect. With tirelessness of operation. So this is what we're all using to create this ornamental life. Limitless power of life. With the tirelessness, so it will never wear itself out, operation, order, and it'll say order of things done again here, operation, the swiftness of necessity, oh my gosh, the swiftness of, so the vibration and how fast that vibration moves to create out of necessity, lack, fear, right? We talk about that a lot at Stars of the Morning Light, that we just keep creating more ornamental based out of the swiftness of necessity. With the mingling, I love that word, with the mingling of elements. We actually do know how to use the elements, but we've been using them for so long for the swiftness of necessity and the ornamental, beautifying, right? Varieties of generation, varieties of creation, because within us, we do know we have limitless power of life. And the order of things done. We also understand the law. Have we recognized it? Have we closed our minds off to knowing that we know? Yeah, we have. Have we been using them the entire time? Yes. Okay, so beloved just asked limitless power of life. That is the creation. So that is a tricky one. Limitless power of life. That is the power, the flame, you could say your frequency, you could say your consciousness. That is limitless. That is very limitless. Life and consciousness are kind of interchangeable. And we just keep using it. It's limitless. We are actually limitless beings. Very much so. Especially, oh, good point. Because I was going to say it. And beloved, you just reminded me. I'm going to say a good point here. So with that, I had just referenced, as we were talking about, because correspondence really is, as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so without, right? And I was just saying, well, okay, so Source the Father created the world and is the Father of the world and and is in everyone. Is in everyone, right? But us here on this earth, creating this earth, governing it, creating it, filling it with all of our ornaments, and however that may look, a lot of, we have the source power in us, the limitless power of life, right? But because we are so trained in looking at the negative and not listening to the continuous, most frequent, as it said, pretty much voice of God, you could say. You could say your heart consciousness, your higher frequency consciousness, whatever you want to reference that as. But we refer more to the devilish type of energy, the negative in this world of polarity and density. And I want to reference that in here because I forgot as I was talking about the density. 3D is extremely heavy and dense. Hence, why when we talk about the Kundalini via Manly P. Hall or any material, the Kundalini awakening people are seeking, moving that coiled snake that is down by the low, dense chakra area, keeping everything very heavy, keeping everything intact there to keep us in fear, shame, all of the low frequencies that we just spoke about, pride, all of it, right? Anger, right? Keep us all there. I'm just referencing the Kundalini as in because generically most people and generally most people know about it. And then the point is to release yourself of that and get that snake, right? Moving up the chakra system to clear you out so you can be more heart-centered or hopefully really get to star consciousness. I mean, the Kundalini really only opens up your third eye, and all that does is tell you that you can live differently. So you really need to get to star consciousness, which is a much higher consciousness frequency, which therefore you do start living in a different plane of tangible physical plane. But before we get to all that, it is as Beloved was just asking, that limitless power of life. I know with Beloved, he references a lot of life is the ego and ego is this and blah blah blah. Kind of all the same jazz. Kind of all the same words. That's why I enjoy Beloved being in the chat. Because what he's saying is not necessarily wrong, and it's not. I know exactly what he's saying. It's a different way of discussing it. Same as how I just said. There's some people that might listen to the words of Christ and be like, right on, he was an ascended master. When others might listen to the Vista, who was an amazing ascended master, and then there were a few after that. So, same concepts, different ways of approach. So, Beloved, when you're talking about the ego and this and that, there is actually another element to that. That is the limitless power of life. That does, at least here, it might be referenced as the flame. That's how we refer to it as here. Which then that will be going into more of what we'll be talking about in August with Zoroaster and stuff. Like that's the flame, right? Which even goes even further back before the Vista, I believe. So there's so many different schools of thought and theory, but really what it does come down to, regardless of what ascended master from the Vista to Christ to Buddha to Zoroaster to whomever you might be approaching and getting your concepts from. That's why I do, like I said, love Beloved being here. It's really in a lot of ways a lot of the same stuff. And what if we could, if more humans would recognize that we are actually creating our lives here, creating all of this. We are the ones creating and generating what is happening and what we see and do here. Singular and collective. that if we could open our awareness to that, well, then the need and the drive and the desire to release ourselves from that fear, the shame, and the lower chakras, to heighten our level of frequency, higher consciousness, in order to create more harmony, peace, humanity, taking care of humanity, loving the land, that desire would be greater. But there's not enough of us yet. I say yet because I really do believe this can all be achieved. The energies of the quote unquote time of Aquarius that we haven't even fully gotten into yet, that the potentiality of us going further in any cycle, or basically leaving, how can I say this even more accurately? Leaving the cycle that our many of timelines have been living through, basically really just leaving it and kind of starting a whole new cycle in a brand new world, understanding we create form out of the formless, understanding that we actually have all limitless power of life, therefore we are creating, that is wholeheartedly present for us to just remove ourselves, if we so choose, from the current cycle, and or I guess you could say it in a way of beginning a whole new one, right? This is the beginning and the end and the beginning. How all of the ancient texts speak like that. We are living in that present moment, that the energy is available and the frequencies, because people are stepping out of the fog and hopefully really understanding, yes, we are creating all the time. It is our job. It is all up to us, because of the God within. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. So imagine, too, people, as if, let's just use the human body and the chakra system. As above, you guys, there's more chakras. It's not like it stops at the crown. There is more. And it's grand, higher consciousness frequency. That's why everybody says open your crown, so you can actually get to the higher chakras, the higher vibrational frequency that you can access, because all is mentalism, right? So, as above, I mean, we're going to use it in this form too. Not just the land, not just the earth, not just other planes. As above, in your own chakra system, as above, so below. Hit the middle ground. As we talked in another video, how Earth is like the middle ground. It's the middle place. Remember, I held this up and I said, if you can look at the screen, as above, so below, as below, so above, as within, so around. The torus field that is just around the Earth. Same goes for our human existence. As above, higher frequency consciousness, higher chakra system. As below, you could bring it to your powerhouse or your heart center, either the third or the fourth, doesn't matter. That's the middle ground. That's your middle ground of your existence, right? Okay. As above, so below. As below, go to the low chakra system. Fear, shame, guilt, lack. As below, so above. That affects your powerhouse, your third chakra. That affects your heart center. As within, so without. Well, if that's all muckety muck, because As above is calling to you, so below, it wants you to use your heart center, right? As above, so below. At the same time, as below, so above. We are conflicted all the time in our midsection, third, fourth, fifth chakra. We're confused all the time in the duality. We're confused all the time because we haven't healed our lower chakras. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, this is your powerhouse, the third chakra. It's supposed to help your heart and your throat produce generation, creation. The word heart-centered, creating not just a world of ornaments and beautifying things, true heart center, it's all gone muckety muck because we haven't taken care of the lower chakras. We also haven't really opened up our crown to acknowledge that there's a whole different way of living, that we can produce a whole different world because limitless power of life is within us. So within, so without. So within, we live. Right? So, I keep going and going and going. I hope that all resonates with people. I'm going to keep reading, and then I'll probably just read and end it with something. Therefore, it is necessarily and properly called the world. For in all living things, both the sense and the understanding comes into them from without. So within, so without. Both the sense and the understanding comes into them from without. Inspired by that which surrounds them and provides for them. Inspired by that which surrounds them and provides for them. You all are so intelligent, and I know you know where this is headed, or you guys are so intelligent. And the world receiving it once from God as soon as it was made, as it still whatever it once had. But God is not as it seems to some who blaspheme through superstition, without sense and without mind or understanding. For all things are in God and made by him and depend of him, some working by bodies, some moving by a soul, like essence, some quickening by the Spirit, and some receiving the things that are weary, and all very lifting. Or rather, I say, that he has them not, but I declare the truth. He is all things, not receiving them from without, but exhibiting them outwardly. And this is the sense and understanding of God, to move all things always. And there shall never be any time when any of these things that are shall fail, or be wanting. When I say the things are, I mean God, for the things that are, God is, and neither is there anything without him, nor he without anything. These things will appear to be true if you understand them, but if you understand them not, they will seem incredible. For to understand is to believe. But not to believe is to not understand. For my speech or words reach not unto the truth, but the mind is great, and be led or conducted for a while by speech, is able to attain to the truth. And understanding all things round about, and finding them consistent and agreeable to those things that were delivered, and interrupted by speech, believe, in that good belief rest. To them, therefore, that understand the things that have been said of God, they are incredible. They are credible. But to them that understand them not, incredible. And let these and thus many things be spoken concerning understanding and sense. That ends that entire reading. Us, who are creating all the time, because we are as of God. We are as of God, and we are the little gods here on this earth, creating all the time, right? We are the little humans with the God spark, with the flame, with the word, with the light, with the frequency consciousness, that we have been using the cosmic laws and principles, hermetics, since day one. Since day one, we've been doing it. Since day one, we allow the fog. Since day one, we allow the corruption. Since day one, because instead of seeing that we can receive everything from source, trusting, believing, based out of our understanding, where did it say it? I'm looking. For in all living things, both the sense and the understanding comes into them from without, inspired by that which surrounds them and provides for them. And if I were to ask anyone right now, what surrounds you and what provides for you, I'd be curious what your answer is. Because that is where your sense and understanding comes into play. And if your sense and understanding is your belief, well then wouldn't we just create more of that? So, remember, lovely humans, lovely beings, you beautiful stars, you ultimate beautiful stars, more beautiful stars of all the cosmos living here on this earth plane, here to take care of her and one another, using all of these principles, using the limitless power of life within the flame. Once again, I will end with, it is as you are. It is as you are. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. That goes for the spiritual. That goes for the mental. That goes for the physical. Physical is the earth middle ground plane. It is the physical of our own selves. It is all of it. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. If I were to ask you, what are your surroundings and what provides for you? What do you trust? What do you believe? Let us remember, it is as you are. It is as I am. You are as I am. I am as you are. We're all doing this together. Creating the it is. So, folks, I will see you. I'm not going to be here live on Sunday. My counsel, I talked to one today, and when two of them say, no, pull back, Cortney, and they're saying the exact same thing, I then do listen. So I will not be here live on Sunday because it'd be just too much energy for me. It's too much energy for me tomorrow to, or it's heavy. It's heavy to. It's a lot to be in the Akashic for that amount of time when I work an event. That's why I don't do this often. And then come back to how dense. I believe in a time and a place and a creation, a generation that is so much lighter, that is so much easier, lighter, without the swiftness of necessity, but just the motion of all infinite possibilities. That's what I see. So, I love you all dearly. I will be with the patrons on Sunday night. We are going to begin our very slow roll into our summer 2023 telepathic group project. If any of you want to join, now is definitely the time to join into the group. It's $5 can get you all access to this. If you can afford 8, I ask for 8 to make up the difference for those who can only afford 5. So $8 a month, and we are very much a loving group, and we spend quality time together, and you get much more deeper lessons. Like tonight is going to be a much more deeper lesson than anything from this. This is on Patreon is actual tools to get you, to get people to to all of this. So, love you all so dearly. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your Memorial Day if you're here in the States. Enjoy. It's always nice to remember fondly and in love and gratitude for all that have who have all served. Us America. Whew, our history is we're babes, but man, our history is it's condensed. It is very, there's a lot there. So love and appreciation to all who have served and passed for us here in America. And it is actually, guys, it is a great place to be. So I love you all very much. Have a lovely weekend, and I will try to keep in touch as much as I can throughout my travels. So, namaste, guys.